What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT. Alex Hutchinson on Twitter is somebody that most folks in gaming probably don't know, at least the casual gamers out there. Just real quick, he had one of the most ridiculous takes I have ever heard in my entire life today that I'm sure the internet will be blowing up about, eventually making plenty of videos about this today and moving forward, because it's just so off-the-wall bonkers that I can't even think of a rationale to defend it. JT. Alex Hutchinson, on his Twitter bio, creative director at Google Stadia. Previously, Journey to the Savage Planet, Far Cry 4, Assassin's Creed 3, Spore, Sims 2, etc. All opinions are my own. Well, that doesn't excuse you for being a moron. It just pretty much tells everybody that you're a moron if these are your opinions. You're more than welcome to them, but when you give an opinion, you're more than welcome to get criticized for it. Trust me, I know I've made plenty of them before, but at least from my perspective, none of them even close to approaching how ridiculous this take was. On Twitter earlier, Alex said, streamers worried about getting their content pulled because they used music they didn't pay for should be more worried by the fact that they're streaming games they didn't pay for as well. It's all gone as soon as publishers decide to enforce it. This guy, the creative director at Google Stadia, is saying that people who play video games should be paying the developers to be able to play their games on stream. Let me finish this first, because I got a lot to say about this. The real truth is streamers should be paying the developers and publishers of the games they stream. They should be buying a license like any real business and paying for the content they use. As far as gaming is concerned and public perception, with basically, you can say, people who have influence and an audience that want to watch them, why would you take the standpoint that these gamers, these streamers, should be taking money out of their own pockets and paying game developers to play games and promote it? I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me, and that's a really scary road to even go down if you're gonna start enforcing that, because I could only imagine the repercussions that would come from it. This is just so insane. I don't even know what to say here. He's being ratioed. He's having way more retweets than likes on it. And then he follows it up by saying, amazing to me that people are upset at someone saying that the creators of content should be allowed to make some of the money from other people using their content for profit. They do make money! The streamers who are using this content for profit are using it to influence their audience to go out and buy it. How are you the creative director at Google Stadia, and that is your mindset? That is the audacity. I mean, like, how could you feel that way? Just think, if that's how his brain is wired, how else is he looking at the game industry? And this dude, the creative director at Google Stadia, I can't say it enough, is in charge. His mentality, his perception, his influence is going out there to the community, and everyone's just like, man, screw Google Stadia more than they already are. Like, it's a failed brand that they're trying to implement across the board, but they're doing it wrong. And I was wondering for the longest time, like, who's in charge making decisions over there? Why are they not getting good games first? Why are they getting all these older games? Why aren't they creating games in-house outside of like 1 or 2 games? Why are they just piecing this together, duct taping it and gluing it like MacGyver would do with a toothpick and Q-tips and I don't even know. Google Stadia has the technology to make it work, but then when it comes to putting the rubber to the road and making it actually happen, they don't have any games. Nobody cares about it. The implementation of Google Stadia is whack. Like, it's completely off the walls. And I look at this and I'm like, well, that explains everything. The guy who got hired at Google Stadia to be the creative director is trying to be creative with his tweet, telling people that that they need to be paying to use the games to stream them. Like, okay. I'll get off my high horse here and talk about how ridiculous he is, and just say, from my perspective as a gamer and as a YouTuber and as someone who is not huge, that I put money into these games oftentimes. I do get some free codes as well, but I buy games from Nintendo. They don't send me free codes or anything like that, and I'll promote them, I'll talk about them because I like them. Now, if this was a situation where I had to pay for everything, for licensing and things like that, then all of these other game companies would be missed. They wouldn't get touched. This makes no sense. This approach is just bonkers. But he doesn't accept that he's wrong. I mean, I guess when you're put in a high enough position, people that tell you, whoa, man, pump the brakes a bit here. You're going off the rails. It's kind of scary. When you get to that high position of creative director at Google Stadia, you don't listen to people that are probably in your ear being like, ee! Or maybe those people are a little bit afraid to talk to you because you have such influence. Jason Schreier, I don't know, maybe you're getting flack because you're picking this particular battle in a world where C-suite executives make $30 million a year and devs don't get royalties, so they'll never see any of that streaming money in the first place. And then someone else, Kyle, goes, and also wanted to target the streamers and not the platforms that are really profiting off the content being streamed. Like, the mentality from Alex Hutchinson here is so one-sided that it is hysterical. Like, he can't see the forest for the trees. He cannot, he's taken himself out of the equation. He's taken Google Stadia and the management team out of the equation, and that they can do no wrong. It's all the streamers over there that need to be paying for the rights to be able to talk about this stuff. We should just be getting all this money. By the way, Alex Hutchinson, the same dude that used to work at Ubisoft that you might remember, was, I believe, the guy that said something along the lines of, female bodies are too hard to animate, which is why we usually do male protagonists on our games, and why we eliminated female protagonists when we were trying to give people a choice. The females were just too hard to animate, so we're just not doing that. This is that guy! Same guy! You'd think he'd be fired for a comment like that and have to find himself a new job in a new industry. What's he do, though? He fails upward into being the creative director at Google Stadia from that. I'm speechless. I'm absolutely speechless. Now, as far as what other people are saying, he's getting absolutely roasted in the comments section. Amazing to me that people are upset at being the most oblivious moron on the planet right now. You are proposing a system that would tax streamers to promote your game. It's flawed. To which Alex replied, they're not promoting the game. They're running a business. It may also sometimes promote the game, but that's not their business. What? Now I get Twitter. I get Twitter is where you tweet. You're a bird, you say what you want on Twitter. That's the whole thing. But to keep doubling down on a very flawed standpoint when a lot of people are being kind to him and being like, dude, no, that's not a good take. Like, it's a very hot take. It's not a good take. And he's doubling down on it. He doesn't see the reality. Dreamcast guy, LOL, Google Stadia failed because of awful ideas like this. Good luck at your next job. I mean, what's he going to be? President of Google after this? Like, he's going to get hired at Apple, be creative director at Apple? Apparently this guy can do no wrong no matter how awful his opinions and ideas are. Google Stadia is failing because people are in charge of Google Stadia with this kind of mentality. It is so off the walls bonkers. Like, he has completely jumped the shark. Like, it is off the reservation with his mindset here. Other people, and Google should pay everyone whose image, thumbnail, or site snippet shows up in search, right? Ooh, I mean, if we're... Someone said, finish him! I hope you got a license from NetherRealm Studios for that GIF. Shots fired! Like, it's true. Like, this guy wants to monetize every little thing you do on the internet because someone else created something. Do you not see the rabbit hole, the slippery slope, the terrible future the internet would have if you go down that road? This is ludicrous. I said on Twitter, this guy needs to not do drugs when he tweets because holy crap, if you're not doing drugs, if this is your rational mindset, you need some serious professional help because nobody in their right mind should be thinking like this when they're the creative director at Google Stadia. I'm sorry. I just gotta be real. This is one of the worst takes in all of my years of covering video games, of working in the game industry, of playing video games. It's not the fact that it's such a ridiculous tweet. It's that it's coming from the creative director at Google Stadia. That is just, it blows my mind. Alex Hutchinson, oh, here we go. AC creative director says press is biased in favor of Japanese developers. Game journalists exhibit subtle racism. Alex Hutchinson, the creative director of Assassin's Creed 3, has said that he believes game journalists give Japanese developers an easy ride, exhibiting a subtle racism which is condescending to those it favors. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I mean, this guy is Mr. He should change his name to Mr. Hot Takes, because all he's got is hot takes. Very off-the-wall, wrong hot takes. And he is, I could keep going for hours here. I'll put the tweet, assuming he doesn't delete it, in the description below if you want to read through some of these. He's getting roasted really, really good right now, and still standing by it. And then he just tweeted, anyway, gonna hop online and stream some Fall Guys. Who's up for it? Anyways, that is Alex Hutchinson in a nutshell. Currently still employed at Google Stadia. As of the publishing of this video, we'll see what happens. But yikes, yikes, yikes. Do not, guys, PSA, don't do drugs when you tweet, and don't tweet ridiculous things that will get you fired from your job. Holy crap. How out of touch with reality do you have to be? I'm going to leave the video right there. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, you stay smashing. Smash,